Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Cathy Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding is provided by a grant from Absolute Care of Westfield, committed to returning the favor to those who spent a lifetime caring for others. Absolute Care is located at 26 Cass Street in Westfield. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. What a beautiful day it is, and my whiskers are coming along pretty well. I've joined the myriad of American gentlemen who are now growing whiskers. There's no particular reason for it. It's just a thing that we're doing. I've got a great guest today with us. We have with us Cathy Young, who's our New York State Senator, and who's very active in Chautauqua County and has been bringing wonderful benefits to us for the short time she's actually been here. She's brought in more money than any other senator, I might add. And I'll tell you another thing. Cathy has some leadership positions now, head of the finance, right? Or one of the finance committees.
I'm on the finance committee.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm chair of the Housing Construction
Chair of
Community
Housing.
Development, chair of the Rural Resources Commission.
Chair of the Rural Resources, and of course you're in a rural district, which
right.
is great.
Exactly. My leadership position is that I'm liaison to the governor's office, and but I serve on several committees.
Does he talk much? Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Well, if you're the head, the person he's supposed to talk to, I guess you better.
He doesn't have a choice.
Right. Okay, we'll be back with Cathy in a little while. We have a lot of different issues to talk about that are affecting New York State and your life and your pocketbook and wallet. When I look at the news, it's just maddening what's going on. Well, the Senate's up to their old tricks. John wants to talk about this a little. They just passed according to. Let's see. I'll just read you what one of the law professors said. Gene Howling is Howington is a guest blogger on law professor Jonathan Turley's blog, and there was a new law just secretly put through by night again and signed immediately by last Thursday by the president, a week from Thursday, and this new law basically shuts down protest anywhere there's a politician of note, president. Vice President, anybody that is protected by the Secret Service, even if there's only one there, and any affair. If they're having a picnic somewhere and the Secret Service is there, you cannot protest. If you protest, and there are no rules for what a protest is. It's vaguely, very vague, the law. The Secret Service will decide. These are the guys, incidentally, who hired all those pros down in Columbia last week, you know. These are really great kids. And in the meantime, they will decide whether you're protesting too much. And they will arrest you. And it's a felony, not just a misdemeanor. It's a felony. It'll ruin your life. You can't get a job in any government job. Most businesses won't hire a felon. You can't vote. You can't run for office. You can't even have a gun for protection, even though everybody around you has one. This is craziness. Gene Hollington, as I said, points out that they made it intentionally vague and overly broad And the language could be purposely adapted to allowing wiggle room for federal authorities to potentially abuse your civil and human rights under the cover of authority. This is a destruction, it's a draconian restriction on the First Amendment. You haven't heard about this, have you? Because it's not been in the news. There's nothing about it. I picked it up on Fox News, I might add. This is just another step in an effort to outlaw all protests against our government, especially in events where the controllers discuss and finalize their plans to implement world government and a centralized global banking system, which is why they've been protesting over in Europe during the banking meetings. The global elite have repeatedly demonstrated their animosity toward the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, taking down the Fifth Amendment, in addition to the Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, and most importantly the Second, under the bogus and contrived aegis of a manufactured war on terror. It shows what they have in mind for us, guys. It's going to be a gulag panicon where resistance is not only futile but illegal, and where the slaves are disarmed and powerless to effect change. Goodbye, First Amendment. John will talk a little more about that. And I'm hoping, incidentally, that you will check it out. On the good side, I'm going to give out to the first caller who calls in today a special gift, which I want to thank Monroe over in, I just happened to drop by. I have my oil change there always, and they also rotate your wheels for free, and they check your brakes. And the manager, general manager, district manager happened to be there, and he said, let me give you a couple of freebies for your program. So I said, sure. So the first caller today will receive a free oil change, tire rotation, brake check, and you will be, and a new filter, of course. How about that? Thank you, Monroe. I did, when I was at Monroe's, they checked my brakes, said, you're going to need new brakes, buddy. And I figured, what's that going to cost? Well, you're going to need new tires, buddy. What's that going to cost? I said, well over $1,000. So I immediately went down to my local Chevy dealer, Schultz now. It used to be LaPorte in Westfield, right across from the school. And I went to Schultz, and they gave me a super deal. They took my old rattle trap in for a nice trade-in, and they're going to give us a grant to the senior citizens of Chautauqua County to give them the news. And on top of all that, I got a nice new car, essentially. It was an older one, but it hadn't been, it was a 2010, but it hadn't been used. It didn't go into service until 2011 in spring, so it's about a year old, 24,000 miles. Can't beat that, huh? I'd like a slightly used car, not a big used car. Okay, at any rate, enough said. Thank you, Schultz. If you need a car, you might want to check those guys out. All right, that's not an ad incident, it's just a mention. Okay. On the federal level also, the war goes on, the wars go on, they might even go into Iran one of these days, following Israel, who knows? And of course, who makes the money on these wars? Well, not you and me, it costs us. No, it doesn't cost us anything, because they've already wiped out all our debt, possible for debt. They've used our credit card, and we're now, at this point, maxed out. They used our children's credit card, it's maxed out. They borrowed against them. Now it's the grandchildren who are going to pay for these wars. And of course, the munition makers, the tank makers, the bullets cost $1.50, just one little bullet. Yeah. And a bottle of water costs $150 or something. Halliburton was charging a crazy amount for these little bottles of water.
It's like those $3,000 toilet seats.
Yeah, right. And screws, the $500 screws. Hey, I think there's something going on here we better check into. At any rate, the wars go on, and the kids, unfortunately, keep getting killed. They just shot down a helicopter yesterday, full of our boys. And jobs don't seem to be happening. Obama's under attack from all around. He says, geez, well, it's not his fault necessarily, but the economy's in the dumps. There's no question about that. It's not coming out tomorrow, even though they keep telling us, well, it's almost over, we're doing real well, everything. That's bunkum and baloney. Up here we call it bull stuff. No jobs. And I don't know. Enough said. Let's talk about some good things. We got the greatest senior citizen clubs in Chautauqua County right here. Every town, village, or church has a club. Seniors get together, they get a chance to meet and chat, they have a second family, they have a support system. Cassadaga has a great bunch over there. They tell us that they always have a touring luncheon at noon, and you can get over there and have a great time with them. The April Kitchen Committee was Josephine Larson and Dana Josephson. Ruth Swanson won the April door prize. You know, everybody has a door prize. And then, of course, they always play bingo after the meeting. May 14th, if you want to get involved with the Cassadaga, Stockton and Lilydale Senior Citizens, their next meeting, May 14th, and they'll have a musical program as always. This time they had Hank Elling and his grandson. You know, I better put my cheaters on here. There we go. I can see. Dunkirk Senior Center Board of Directors, Barbara Badges does the job over there, and they reported that the May Gala will be held on May 20th, and it'll include cheddar, punch, appetizers, broccoli soup, sausage, peppers, onions, and macaroni salad, baked beans, and dessert. How can you beat that for a dinner? Membership is up to 300 folks over there. Can you imagine that? 300 members at the Dunkirk Senior Board, Senior Center. They bought some chairs. They bought 50 chairs. They needed more chairs for all these members that are showing up. And they have a couple of flag kits because their flags were getting a little old. You know, when your flag gets tattered, take it over to the American Legion and tell them to dispose of it properly. Just fold it up and take it to the American Legion. They accept old flags and dirty flags and battered flags and raggedy flags, and they burn them in a ceremony. Okay. They're a hamburger. Everybody's going to the casinos. They're going to the hamburger casino trip on April 17th. It's sold out. They're accepting reservation now for the May 8th trip to Niagara Falls and June 12th trip to the Salamanca Casino. Everybody gets a bunch of chips. And my advice to you is play your chips. If you win, walk away. If you lose, walk away, because you may lose your shirt if you stay. All right, enough said about that. They have kids come over, incidentally. They help them set up, decorate during the school holidays. They did some wonderful community service, picked up the grounds, organized the library over there. How can you beat that? Lakeshore Senior Citizens. They meet at the Dunkirk Senior Center also. It's a great place, that senior center there, because it has an indoor running track all around. I mean, that old school. Big cafeteria, big seating room. That's terrific. Their next meeting at the Lakeshore Seniors is April 25th. And you can meet the president, I might add, is Barb Barbarich. Silver Creek, bunch of wonderful folks over there. Dorothy Mineri is the vice president, and they do, as most people at seniors, they salute the flag, they sing God Bless America, and then they get into their meeting. They're having a Mother and Father Day combined luncheon May 16th over in Silver Creek, or at Mount Carmel, in Silver Creek, excuse me. I better have these checked. They're going to have a chicken and biscuit dinner at St. Rose on April 25th, 4 to 7 p.m. Again, I am speaking of a great group over there, the Mount Carmel Social Club. Silver Creek Seniors, they usually meet regularly in their new, beautiful headquarters. They own their own club over there. It's on the corner of 20 and Route 5. And there's a bus trip coming to you know where, April 25th to the Niagara Falls Casino. If you want to get involved with the Silver Creek Gang, you can call her. They have a great bunch there. Incidentally, the guy over there who runs it is Mr. Newman, and he announced that his wife had successful foot surgery. And say some prayers for her full recovery. Bingo was called, of course, by Marie Smith. Sinclairville Seniors, recent gathering. I'm not finished. You say my time is up. I'm going to still talk about the Sinclairville crowd. They're doing a lot of work over there. The president is Elaine Palmer Smith. They're doing an auction, and they do Chinese auctions too. You know, that's a fun way to bid. You put the bid in, and it's secret. All right, enough said. They're taking a bus tour June 13th to the East Aurora, and it'll include a luncheon, a visit to Vidler's, that store that has a million different things. It's the oldest 5 and dime in the world. And nothing's a nickel anymore. It's filling up fast, though. You had to get in by May 1st. I do want to remind everybody that the trips that the seniors go on are very inexpensive.